there's no place like home for the holidays. And no matter how far away you roam, if you pine for the sunshine of a friendly gaze, for the holidays you can.
Welcome back to Horror for the Holidays, a Christmas horror movie podcast. I'm Jay Logsden.
And I'm Jeff Searcy.
All right, well, Jeff.
Yes, Jay.
As we, I don't know that there's any dancing around it, so give me a second to prepare myself here. We can get into talking about Bikini Bloodbath Christmas.
All right.
All right, give me a second.
Oh, he's reaching for some sort of alcohol. Oh, God, the terrible candy corn liquor that we tried before. Oh, no. This man's been driven to desperate measures. Oh, no. Oh, God, he took a shot of it.
All right, let's get into it.
Oof. Well, I guess that tells you Jay's thoughts on the movie.
Let's deck the halls. Released December 25th, 2009. Hey, great work,
Perfect.
guys.
Perfect release day.
I couldn't ask for a better one. Alternate title, Bikini Bloodbath 3, Bikini Bloodbath Christmas, because its prequels are Bikini Bloodbath and Bikini Bloodbath Car Wash.
Yes.
Written and directed by Jonathan Gorman and Thomas Edward Seymour. Gorman has pretty much just done the other Bikini Bloodbath movies. Seymour has also done that, but also is a co-executive producer on a post-production movie called Mistletoe Massacre, scheduled, I think, to come out sometime this year.
Oh, awesome. Maybe that's like a sleeper sequel to these.
Starring the long-awaited return of Debbie Rochon, a lady who didn't want to spend Christmas by herself in Santa Claus, C-L-A-W-S.
Yes.
She's Miss Johnson in this movie. We will see her again in Caesar and Otto's Deadly Christmas, as well as an in-production movie called The Vampire Santa 1, The Beginning.
Yes.
Oh, boy. Rachel Robbins is Jenny, and we will see her again in Bleeding Hearts, which I think is a Christmas movie. There's Joe Bob talked about it a couple years ago.
Yeah, I do.
And mentioned that someone, like one of the guys in it, dresses like Santa Claus. Which I was like, all right, well, that's good enough for me.
Well, if we're being honest, Jay, I mean, what other credits do you really need after being in a masterful trilogy like the Bikini Bloodbath franchise?
Some guy named Lloyd Kaufman is Dr. O Master Blaster.
Yes.
We will see him again in Silent Night, Bloody Night 3, Descent, Christmas Slasher, Bloody Christmas, and Caesar and Otto's Deadly Christmas.
Oh, boy. If you want to talk about something that's going to break Jay's mind, the things I've seen from Caesar and Otto's Bloody Christmas are probably going to kill him.
Oh, boy. Monique Dupree as Dungaree is also in The Fright Before Christmas.
Yes. She's also in the original Bikini Bloodbath.
I also saw her, maybe she did something with AEW Dynamite at some point.
It did. Yeah, she did have some kind of professional wrestling credits.
Yeah, like there's a lot of wrestling credits kind of associated to her name on the IMDb. Part of me thought about reaching out to Darcy and see if she would get back to us. Because Darcy's a big wrestling fan, and be like, do you know what this credit means? But I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't want our first interaction with Darcy actually following us on social media to be a question about Bikini Bloodbath Christmas.
Why not, Jay? This is exactly the kind of movie that Joe Bob would feature on The Last Drive-In. I'm honestly kind of surprised he hasn't done it already. At least one of them.
I mean, he has. I'm pretty sure he's done multiple Slumber Party Massacres. Jeff, what's your experience with the Bikini Bloodbath franchise?
Well, we've had it on the wheel since we started because it was one of the first things we found and added to it. And Jay's been dreading it, and I've been looking forward to it ever since it was announced that we were going to be watching it.
It's you know what? We'll just get it out of the way right now. It is exactly what it says on the tin.
Yes, it's like, it's a Bikini Bloodbath, Jay, and it's at Christmas. What else do you want?
Yeah, if those were the rules to go by, this movie's a 10 out of 10. It does exactly what's advertised. The Leech, the worst movie. There's no leeches in that movie.
Yeah.
Bikini Bloodbath Christmas.
I mean,
10 out of 10.
there's a metaphorical leech, well, a pair of metaphorical leeches.
Yeah,
in that movie.
if we're going strictly off of titles.
Yeah.
If we're going strictly off of titles, there's no American Scream in the American Scream.
Well, and that was a bad movie. So, maybe if there was an American Scream in there, Jay, it might have been better.
You're right.
To watch. But, I mean, low production budget, obviously, for, all three movies of the trilogy. Because, we might as well discuss them just as a franchise in general here at the beginning.
Yeah, you did a bit of research on this.
But it was originally, they set out to parody... at the beginning, they were just trying to do... Bikini Bloodbath is more of a parody of 80s slasher movies. Bikini Bloodbath Car Wash goes more into, 90s slasher territory and, ironic slashers like the Scream franchise. And Bikini Bloodbath Christmas, obviously parodying some aspects of Christmas horror movies and heavily parodying the Slumber Party Massacre franchise. Which Jay likes more than this.
Yeah, I actually enjoy Slumber Party Massacre movies.
But, essentially, yes, they're having a Christmas slumber party after their Christmas war between the bong shop and the deli.
That eternal rivalry between the bong shop and the deli.
I don't know, you think they would make natural allies, because after you're done with your bong, you probably want a sandwich.
I absolutely would, yes.
But that's getting into plot details, Jane. We don't want to spoil the plot of this movie for everyone because it's very important.
Yeah, but yeah, like you said, this movie's been on the list pretty much since the beginning. I had never seen it before.
I'd never even heard of it before we started doing research for this podcast.
And where to watch it, you can spend $2 on Prime or YouTube or other places to rent it.
You can also do a free trial on Prime of Indie Flicks, and I think Midnight Pulp also. You can get that free for 7 days and watch all three of them.
Oh, make sure you cancel it. Jeff, did you watch all three of them?
No. I did not.
See, here I was hoping you were going to come in and be I enjoyed it so much I watched all three
I watched Christmas and I watched Car Wash. I did not get around to watching the first one.
Okay.
But yes.
Well, there you go.
I enjoyed both movies, yes.
You can give some background information if I get confused.
Well, see, one of the running jokes of the entire series is that they act like it's important to have watched the other movies by doing flashbacks. But in Car Wash and in this movie, the flashbacks to the last movie are just like the shower scenes instead of the last one with no plot information.
There's an extended scene of a girl not even taking her top off, putting her top on.
Yeah.
It plays 4 times in a row. Just this girl getting out of bed and putting her top on.
But it uses that. You recognize it instantly if you've watched 80s to early 90s horror movies where the background gets hazy and she's having a flashback.
I also enjoyed that there was a little sound of the film reel.
Yes.
Running.
Yes, that was good too. But yes, they tried to I think they did a decent job parodying that kind of the rough continuity, we'll say, between these horror movie entries in a franchise. Which I think, honestly, that's something you could do with the Silent Night, Deadly Night franchise as well. Yes, these are all Silent Night, Deadly Night movies, but is anything important from the last one? Well, if it is, we'll show it to you in this one.
Oh, boy. We start out with someone chopping and packaging meat in butcher paper.
Yes. I thought it was a pretty effective opening credits scene.
With some ominous music playing, and our production logo, title card, and the credits are all labels that are stuck onto the butcher paper packaging the meat.
Yep.
We then cut to 2 girls running away from a killer chef.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a nightmare, and the 2 girls, one of them is topless. One wakes up screaming, the other one reassures her it's only a nightmare, and then they cuddle and go back to sleep.
Yep.
I think one of them is Jenny and the other one is Sharon.
Yes, Sharon, the fat bitch.
Then we get 2 more scenes of people waking up from nightmares. One of them is a horse, and the person that wakes up is Mrs. Johnson.
Yep.
And the other one is Jesus sucking the dude off, and
that's Gina Davis.
That's Gina Davis,
the Jesus freak deli owner. We will meet in a minute.
At this point, I'm wishing that maybe I had watched the first two movies because I had no idea who any of these people were.
You would still have no idea who these people were, Jay, but you would have a little more context for what was going on. I'll say the chef would mean more to you if you'd seen one of the other two movies.
'Tis the Season for Some Pleasin' by White Liger plays over an opening montage of girls putting bikinis on with Santa hats, and we get more credits.
Yes, Jay. It's the second opening credit scene, of course.
'Tis the season for some pleasin'.
Hey, Jay, did you know that it's colder than a witch's tit outside?
They call me Rudolph the Red-Nosed Freak.
I want to throw you on the back of my sleigh.
And then something about being 3 feet deep.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Apparently, the two other people that I thought. When I first saw these opening credits, I thought that, or this opening scene, I thought that the person who woke up from the nightmare, and with the horse, was then woke up from another nightmare where they were dressed as a woman, and then woke up from a nightmare where they're getting sucked off by Jesus. These were two different people. So One of these is Mrs. Johnson, one of these was Gina Davis.
Indeed.
I thought these were the same person for like in those opening like moments of the movie.
Well, one note I want to make here too is this movie is by far, from what I've read and what I've seen of the second movie, this one is the most has the most crude humor and gags in it. Car Wash was not as gag. It still had a ton of parody stuff in it, but it was not as gag heavy or fart joke heavy as this one. And the first one was almost a straight parody from what I've read without a whole... It was more like a scary movie type parody.
Okay. Weird.
So they've gotten more goofy as the series went along.
And we picked the goofiest
Yes,
one.
but of course, in true horror for the holidays fashion, Jay, we started with the last movie of the trilogy.
So anyway, we're Mrs. Johnson runs this bong shop and is yelling at all the girls who are wearing bikinis and Santa because this is Christmas, our most important sales time of the year.
Yes, we make 80% of our profits during the holiday season, Jay. Get out there and push those bongs.
And so like they set up like a little like Santa village for like people to come and sit on Santa's lap. It's grown men and women who like going to sit on Santa's lap at this bong shop, but then there's also bikini girls running around.
Yes, Jay. Obviously they're helping sell stuff. Like that guy who keeps checking out her ass as she bends. One of my favorite lines, I'll just go ahead and say it now, is she gets to the end of the line of girls, Miss Johnson, and she... shave that 70s bush, you fucking Sasquatch.
I also have I think the follow-up part of that line is one of my lines.
Any customers complain about hair in the bong one.
There we go.
You're
That's
fired.
Yeah. But no, there's like this big like she goes down the line and insults like every single girl except maybe Jenny.
Yes.
And
she just tells Jenny to open her top up a little bit, and all she tells I think one of
Dungaree.
them... Yes, I think she tells her just to hike up her skirt or whatever. Those are the only two that don't get insulted.
But like Sharon, she like lays into her for being super fat and stuff.
Yeah.
Poor Sharon.
I believe her exact words are, abort that baby or find yourself another fucking job.
And then she's like, I'm not pregnant. And she's like, well, either some sailor shot some cheese whiz
shot you up with cheese whiz.
And then it's something else. I don't know. I think I have that piece of dialogue down too.
I will say some very interesting dialogue for some of these characters in this movie.
Very colorful dialogue.
Yes.
We then cut across the street where Gina Davis is issuing like a decree to their troops for the Bikini and the Santa people that are also going to sell stuff at the deli, the mortal enemy of the bong shop.
Yes, of course, Jay. Well, we're a Christian deli, okay? We can't have that sin right across the street from us.
And so, like, I don't know, they're having some kind of competition to make sales. Once again, like you said, you would think people shopping at the bong shop would then also want to shop at the deli.
Yes, you would think they would be natural allies, but unfortunately, Christianity has made them mortal enemies, Jay.
Also, the Santa for the deli looks more like a Knecht Ruprecht or like a Belschnickel. Like he's wearing like he's got like an all black beard and stuff like that, or Santa's twin from the from that children's book, that kind of creepy Santa children's book.
Yeah.
Yeah. We then get a jazzed up version of Jingle Bells as the two sets of rivals set up their Santa stands and Christmas displays and decorate the courtyard that both their businesses are in very poorly.
Yes, as you would expect from two retail outlets such as these.
We then get another montage of the rival bikini girls working at the deli and the bong shop, respectively. Jeff, what was your favorite part of this montage? I think you said it was the guy who keeps checking out the girl's butt.
Creepily checks her. He keeps asking for things off the bottom shelf, so she'll bend over and show her ass and her skirt.
Yeah. Yeah, he keeps telling, I think, Sapphire.
Well, and you highlighted a moment when we were talking about this before. I believe you liked when Ramirez sold the merchandise.
Yeah, so Ramirez, who's dressed as Santa, is like the guy purchases a bong. So Ramirez goes and shoves it in a paper bag, completely destroying the paper bag in the process of shoving the bong into it, and then just hands it to the guy, where it's just a bong wrapped in like a little bit of of brown paper, and the guy's just like, "Gee, thanks, mister," and walks out the door.
Obviously, Jay has never seen business done before.
Oh boy. So Willem Dafoe and her gang of deli girls barge into the bong shop and tell Jenny, Sharon, Dungaree, and Sapphire that they are going to Chef Death's grave that night. This is apparently the evil chef from the opening dream sequence.
Yes, and the main villain of the other two movies.
Dungaree can't make it because apparently that's taco night, and so all the girls are like, "Oh, okay."
No, I mean, come on, Jay. If you have something better to do, you don't have to go do this foolishness.
Willem Dafoe's catchphrase is something about you like butt fucking holes or something like that.
You butt fucking holes.
You butthole assholes, something like that.
She has a very thick parody French accent, and she speaks like an English-French mixture at some point.
Sharon doesn't like all the talk about buttholes because, and I quote, her dad had a butthole, died of colon cancer of the butthole.
Yes, obviously, Jay. I mean, what's so hard to understand about this, Jay? I don't understand where
which then causes someone to say something to Sapphire. And right before this, Sharon punches Sapphire in the face or something like that.
We're not going to go to the grave unless you give us something in return. Like what? I don't know. Punch her in the face? Fine. The dumbass blonde in Willem Dafoe's crew also does one of my favorite gags in the entire movie, which is, "We're going to meet at the cemetery." Where? The cemetery. Which one? And they do it 4 times.
Later on, they do that same joke. I think it's the same blonde does the same joke, but it's the we're gonna drink some eggnog and get laid,
Yep.
and then they just keep talking about drinking eggnog and getting laid for 3 minutes straight.
And Gina Davis is like, "I too would like to drink eggnog and get laid."
We now cut to the hospital where Dr. Lloyd Kaufman is just walking down a hall in multiple scenes of him checking a chart and then waving at somebody, and then he's back to the beginning of the hall checking the chart and waving at the person, and this happens 5 times.
This joke hit me better than I think it hit you, because I just got done watching, not watching completely, but watching episodes from 20 seasons of Grey's Anatomy with my wife, and the doctor walking through the hall and checking the chart shot while they're shot from below is in every single episode. So I thought it was pretty funny to have him do it 5 times.
But it's just, I love that it's they at least went to the trouble of chopping up the things he does differently, but they are clearly the same takes over and over and over again.
But the important stuff happens when he finally gets to Miss Johnson's room.
If he gets to Miss Johnson's room, which is our, Debbie Rochon, she's in a coma. And Lloyd Kaufman's like, "All right, well, I need to check her vitals," and then just grabs her boobs.
Yep, does a few twists to check her pulse.
And then he's like, "Oh, I don't know, this doesn't seem right."
I need to get a baseline.
Walks over to Jenny, grabs her boobs, and then walks over to Mrs. Johnson and grabs her boobs. He's like, "Nope, seems fine."
Yep.
And then he's like, "All right, time to take her temperature." And just puts his index finger in his mouth, and then pulls it out kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then just sticks it next to her face for a minute, and then just waves it off and goes, "Oh, 98.2, perfect."
Yep. Well, I mean, come on, Jay. He's got to get a baseline for the vitals. He has to grab at least 3 sets.
This is also so then we get a little bit of backstory on who Mrs. Johnson is.
Yes.
She's Debbie Rochon's sister from England.
Yes, she had to come over and run her bong shop and take care of her house while her sister is in a coma.
And then Jenny talks about how much Ms. Johnson means to her, how much Debbie Rochon means to her. And at one point she's like, "Can you give us some time alone?" And Mrs. Johnson's like, "Sure, dear." And then just proceeds to stand there.
Also something I liked.
And so then Jenny gets like real says, "Oh, we're going to Chef Death's grave tonight." And then Debbie Rochon like sits up and grabs her and like mentions, I think she says evil.
Yes, evil. Don't go.
And then just falls back down, and then and it flatlines, and they're just like, "All right," and they just walk off.
Well, we'll see you later.
So at the cemetery, clearly not midnight.
Yeah.
Jenny, Sapphire, and Sharon are walking up to the cemetery, and Jenny gives us some backstory about what happened in the first 2 movies. Like Jeff said earlier,
But not really.
it's mostly just scenes of like girls in the shower, like running around topless, stuff like that, with a little bit of Chef Death,
A little tiny bit, yeah.
like killing people,
which is telling you a good picture of the other movies, because yes, it's mostly tits and bikinis, and then there's a killer sometimes.
And then there's a line where it's like Jenny's like, the events of the first movie happened, and she kind of describes it. We got attacked by the evil chef, and she's like, I got attacked, and Sharon ran away to get help. And then it's like the second movie, and I got it, and we tried to summon the ghost of our dead friend, but instead the Ouija board summoned Chef Death's ghost,
Yep.
and he came back to kill us, and I got attacked, and Sharon ran away again to get help.
Yep. Which will be called back to at the end of this movie.
Jenny, they finally make their way to the cemetery. Now it's night. It was day earlier, but now it's night.
Yeah.
And they make their way into the cemetery, and the rival gang has been waiting there 9 hours for them to show up.
Yeah.
And they're like, "All right, I dare you to touch the grave." And then what is it? She's like, "What are you going to give us in return?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "I don't know, punch Sapphire in the face."
Yeah.
And so they do. And then Jenny walks over, touches the grave, and instantly there's like a big like awakening an evil spirit moment.
Before that, one of the girls in Willem Dafoe's crew is like, "All right, now we slit their throats and sacrifice them to Chef Death, right?" No, Jesus, calm down.
Well, there was also the one who was like, "You dig up his body and you fuck his corpse."
Yep, that one too.
Oh, Jesus. This fucking movie. And so then Chef Death just bursts out of the ground and attacks the evil crew.
Yeah.
Or attacks both crews as they run away. Cut to the next day, and they're just at the shop as though nothing had just happened. Yeah. As though an evil chef hadn't been resurrected for a second time to attack Jenny and her friends.
And I quote, Jay, "It can't be him. He's dead." Well, we're pretty sure. No, it can't.
Yeah, when they call the cops for help, he's like, "It'll take me 3 hours to get there," and then as he becomes more haggard, just starts taking more and more pieces of clothing off.
But as soon as he answers the phone, he starts loosening his tie to make himself look more disheveled.
The next morning, the girls are at their job, as though the zombie chef didn't just rise from the grave and attack them.
Jay, we still got to make a living. This is still America.
While setting up, Sharon eats a shit sandwich because she's fat, I guess.
Yeah.
Is the joke.
It's a shit sandwich. Come on, don't eat it.
And she's like, "Oh, it's free."
Yeah, it's a free sandwich.
Dupree pukes up what is clearly just like pasta.
Yeah.
And goes to get cleaned up, only to get attacked and killed by Chef Death in the bathroom. There's also just a scene of a Cyclops and a salesman arguing about selling a glaive.
Yes, the glaive, Jay.
The two rival Santas then fight in a kiddie pool, and Bong Santa wins, while the Deli Santa loses.
Yeah.
I guess that's what happens when one person wins and one person loses.
Yes, Jay, that's generally what happens in a competition.
So the Deli Santa goes to clean himself off and then gets strangled by Christmas lights.
As he deserves.
We then get a brief moment where we cut to the hospital as Dr. Lloyd Kaufman is like, who just threw this on me? Oh, why does it smell like gasoline? And then we just get him exploding out of the window.
Yes.
And it's just the scene. It's almost like just like a clipped Lloyd Kaufman, and they just spun it around and threw it out the window.
Excellent.
Also, at one point, Mrs. Johnson's like, are you girls going to make it to the Christmas party tonight? And so we're at the Christmas party now.
Of course.
And Mrs. Johnson is just soaking her feet in the eggnog, but is offering it to guests. And she's soaking her feet in eggnog, which is also in a kiddie pool.
Yes, of course, Jay. I mean, have you never been to a Christmas party before?
We cut away to Ramirez, the bong shop Santa, getting ready to put on a new set of Santa. He takes off his Santa clothes just to put on more Santa clothes.
Obviously.
And then gets bludgeoned to death with a hammer by Chef Death.
Oof. R.I.P. to a real one. Best bong salesman at the shop.
We get a party montage with a couple people that we haven't seen before drinking. The captions state that this is a energetic rock song, and one of the captions on this thing is just like sits there for 10 seconds, and it just says, "I've got the penis."
Yes, Jay.
There are more words that are said, but the captions just stick on the words "I've got the penis" for like 10 seconds.
Of course. I mean, obviously, Jay, the great artists in White Liger meant for you to understand that they've got the penis.
They've got the penis.
What they were saying.
Yeah, they've got. I understand. They've got the penis. Arby's got the meats. White Liger's got the penis.
Yes.
Arby's got the meats. In the spirit of Christmas, Mrs. Johnson has invited the deli crew to the party, this is the extended scene where it's like 3 minutes of them just talking about getting laid and drinking egg fucking nog.
Yes.
Butt fucking nog, stuff like that.
Bring me a butt fucking nog.
It's literally, it would just be like me and Jeff standing here. I can't wait to get to the party and get laid. And then Jeff would be like, and drink some eggnog.
Yes.
Yeah, drink some eggnog and get laid. You just mentioned that.
I need some nog.
And to get laid.
Yeah, but what about the nog, Joe?
I would also like to get laid and drink nog.
If I could get laid while drinking nog, that would be the optimal solution to this problem.
It's just that for like 3 minutes straight. And then like Sapphire just kind of walks by and she's like, oh, the party's over here, guys. Chef Death approaches the house as Willem Dafoe and Jenny go out to the hot tub, and other girls set up a strip poker game, which we get a montage of that happening. And then two of the girls start fighting, and suddenly all the girls are just clothed again.
Yes.
I thought that was really funny.
Clothes beam.
So they were slowly taking their clothes off as they were losing the game, and then one of them gets mad at the other, and it cuts away, and now they're suddenly all wearing clothes again.
Don't forget about the kung fu fight between Miss Johnson and Gina Davis.
Yeah, I think that's a little later. Although it feels like it should have been earlier in the movie. The two of the girls that were fighting are like, well, I bet you wouldn't do this. And then she's like, I bet I would. Well, I bet you wouldn't do this. Well, I bet I would. Well, I bet you wouldn't punch a nun in the dick. Well, I bet I would. Well, I bet you won't go into that room and play doctor with me. Well, I bet I would. And then they just both get up, go into the other room, and then you just hear them screaming for like 30 seconds. And the camera just stays on the two girls that are still left in the room. Even though these other girls are screaming and getting murdered.
No one cares, Jay.
And then we cut into the room. They've been murdered off screen, and the Santa just like covers up their bodies in the bed.
Exactly, Jay. I mean, come on. I mean, wouldn't it be ridiculous if a bunch of people got murdered in a house and nobody heard anything?
Gina Davis, this is where the thing you brought up. Gina Davis suggests an annual eggnog wrestling match between the two stores, and then gets naked and climbs into the hot tub with Jenny and Willem Dafoe.
Yes, after he loses, of course.
And we get some full frontal from Gina Davis.
Yeah, not the kind I was hoping for.
Some just hanging some dong in this movie. Back inside the long. We get a long-held shot of Sapphire and Mrs. Johnson just sitting at a table as a little town of Bethlehem plays in the background. And then Mrs. Johnson just looks over and throws her eggnog on Sapphire.
Yes, that's also the part where she's like, "You're so pretty if you don't talk," and then she says like one thing, "Don't talk."
That's Sharon later.
No, I say, didn't she say the same thing to both girls?
No, I think they literally just sit there, and then she just throws the eggnog on her. She's like, "Well, I guess you better go take a shower." And then Sapphire's like, "I like showers." Goes upstairs, takes her shirt off, takes her bra off, puts on another shirt, and then just sits down to take a dump. Where we get an extended scene of like poop falling into a toilet,
Yep.
and pee like going into a toilet, and then she just screams as Chef Death appears in the bathroom and stabs her as blood starts falling into the toilet.
Yes, Jay, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, what else were you expecting, Jay?
I don't know, a shower scene. We had 2 other shower scenes.
Well, she's got to take a shit before she gets in the shower, Jay.
Gina Davis takes a dump in the hot tub.
Yes.
Driving Willem Dafoe and Jenny to leave.
Yes.
The Cyclops and the salesman show up at the party and try to sell the glaive again. And
Mrs. Johnson is like, "Yeah, I heard this pitch before at the bong shop. We all know the power of the glaive is in us." Which is a Kroll reference for anybody who doesn't understand.
Willem Dafoe and Jenny sneak off. And then this is, I think, where we get our eggnog wrestling match. And I think Mrs. Johnson wins.
Yes. She wins handily.
Willem Dafoe and Jenny sneak off to the bedroom where they just like lay on top of the 2 girls who were murdered earlier, and they're just kind of getting ready to fuck when the pervy Cyclops is peeping on them. And then in walks Sharon, who's like, "You guys are there, but there's 4 sets of feet." And she's like, "Well, yeah, there's 2 of us. 2 times 2 equals 4. And she's like, "No, 2 times 2 equals 6.
No, but you don't understand, Jay. There are 4 sets of feet down
Yeah.
there. And then Jenny pulls up the hand, and she's like, "But whose hand is this?"
And that's when they realize that there are dead bodies in the bed with them. This is when they call the cops to say that Chef Death is still around, and the cop starts taking his just gets more and more haggard.
He goes through the entire cop on a long case transformation in the course of one phone call,
and tells them it will take 3 hours for him to get there.
No, first they go through what I was talking about earlier. We think it's Chef Death. He's back. He can't be back. He's dead. It's impossible. Well, we're pretty sure. Oh God, I'll be there in 3 hours.
As he rips his shirt off, sweat pouring down his brow. Gina Davis goes to take a shit and can't finds Sapphire's body. Can't take a shit in that toilet. Goes downstairs, and then there's just a toilet that doesn't work. I think it's implied that Sharon ruined that toilet.
Sharon broke it with her fat ass, Jay.
And so decides to just stick his ass out the window and take a dump, where we just get like a prosthetic butt with hair on it and just like brown sludge being pumped through it.
Clearly Gina Davis needs to change his diet, Jay.
And then then just like up from behind Gina Davis walks Chef Death dressed as Santa and rips out his insides and his butthole with a claw hammer.
I also appreciated when he runs in and sees the girl dead on the toilet. He's like, "Well, that's unfortunate, but I have to shit somewhere." And he runs out.
So all the girls, I think it's somehow realize that Chef Death is around, because I don't think they know that Gina Davis is dead yet.
No, they know that Chef Death is around killing people. That's what they reported to the cop. But yes, they go upstairs and then they figure out that the girl is dead on the toilet, and then so they go down to the other bathroom and they see Gina Davis with his bowels running out the window.
Where they're like, "Haha, funny joke, Gina Davis.
Quit fucking around, Gina Davis. People are dead here." And then Miss Johnson's like, "Oh shit, he's dead too," and they run off screaming again.
And then Sharon runs off, to go get help.
Yes.
And runs to the front door, opens the front door, and just gets stabbed by Chef Death in the stomach.
And I believe this is the point where Jenny's like, "Maybe we could just run away." And Miss Johnson's like, "No, we have to face our problems head on.
Running away is for cowards."
Which I'm guessing is poking fun at the fact that most of these movies could be solved by just leaving the area.
Right. And then Willem Dafoe also gets murdered.
Yes.
So Willem Dafoe, she goes to the back door, opens up the back door, and gets stabbed by Chef Death again.
Yes.
So Jenny and Mrs. Davis lock themselves in a room, and this is where Jenny talks about running away. But also the Cyclops and the salesman are just hanging out in the room.
And they're just there watching. Like, I wonder what they're gonna do.
Not helping, not doing anything.
Well, I mean, they did. You know, Jay, they may have helped if someone had bothered to buy their glaive.
I mean, they could have used the glaive to help.
Their business is going under, and they need to sell the glaive. But unfortunately, word about the glaive has gotten out, and everybody knows that the power is within themselves, and they don't need the glaive.
Oh, boy.
Business is hard. Oh, I can see Jay wilting before my very eyes.
So Jenny and Mrs. Johnson run out to the backyard. Jenny kind of runs off, and Mrs. Johnson kind of trips up, like trying to fight. I think decides to stand and fight.
She's like, "I'll take on this pussy tort."
tries to fight Chef Death when it's revealed that Debbie Rochon, her sister,
is
Chef Death.
She's been faking her coma, and she's been jealous of her sister this whole time.
And so murders Mrs. Johnson. And then we just cut to the cop arriving at the house and walking in.
Oh boy, this case is going to make my career.
We're assuming 3 hours later,
Yes.
as everyone's dead, Jenny's gone, and we have no idea where Debbie Rochon is. Credits roll, end of movie.
Exactly. Did what it set out to do. There were bikinis, there was a bloodbath, there was a Christmas.
All right, which of our categories do you want to start with first?
I don't know, Jay, but first I need you to get me a cup of butt fucking nog. You know what? Let's just start with the Christmas spirit.
All right, how Christmassy is the movie? How Christmassy are the kills? Christmas spirit.
I'd say between the kills are not very Christmassy. I mean, there's the kill. I mean, it's Santa doing the kills, so you have that. And there's the Christmas light strangulation kill on Ramirez, I think it is.
Yeah. No, the evil Santa.
Okay, bad Santa from the deli. Okay. So yeah, that's a Christmassy kill, I guess.
Yeah.
So I'd say kill's not super Christmassy, but you got a little bit. I
would assume like the claw hammer and the light strangulation are references to Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Yes, that's what I assumed as well. And like we said, if it's Santa doing the killing, that adds a little bit to it.
And it was Debbie Rochon. She should have pushed for a hand rake to be one of the implements of destruction.
Santa Claus. Oh God, don't make me think about that movie, Jay.
Also, there's before when we were getting ready to spin the wheel and this movie popped up, we were making fun of Santa Claus before this movie popped up, and they're both Debbie Rochon movies. The wheel has a sense of humor.
It hates us and loves us. But I'd say the actual setting of the movie, there's Christmas decorations, but not a ton. The main theme, the thing that starts the rivalry is Christmas related, so I guess you could give it that. I mean, you have Santa and like a Santa. I mean, even though it's a creepy adult parody version of it, you still have people visiting Santa. The girls wear Santa hats. I mean, it's not as Christmassy as they could have made it if they'd put a little more effort into the decorations, but that's hardly a failing of just this movie. There's a lot of these movies that could have done a lot more with their Christmas theme and don't.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like, I will say it didn't make me feel Christmassy. Like, this isn't one that like I might go out to watch every Christmas. And it doesn't do like what Silent Night, Deadly Night does, the first one, where like it really does it kind of feels like Christmas to me. Like I watch Silent Night, Deadly Night, and even though it's, it could be the middle of June.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of like, it kind of feels Christmassy now. Like something about that movie. This one doesn't do that, but this one does at least have like multiple decorations in multiple places.
Yes, and we got some Santa theming, and honestly, one of the things that does make it feel a little Christmassy is the soundtrack. They had some Christmas songs commissioned for this.
Yeah, I will. Hats off to White Liger for their handful of original Christmas songs.
Their dirty 1980s hair metal Christmas songs. But I would say overall, I'm going to give it a medium Christmas rating. There's enough Christmas in it to make it a Christmas-themed movie, but not enough to make it like super Christmassy, like a Black Christmas or something like that.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. Like I think it's better than like a bunch that we've seen, or not a bunch, but like certainly a handful that we've seen.
We've certainly seen movies with much less Christmas theming than this.
But like, you know, it's also, they probably filmed it in like the height of like June or something like that.
It definitely looks like summer.
And probably, you know, filmed it in like California.
It was filmed in Connecticut. I believe.
So I mean, you know, but my point kind of still stands. It was clearly like a place where it's, you know, kind of summer, where girls would be wearing bikinis at Christmas time.
Indeed, sir.
All right, well, but yeah, I other than that, yeah, I kind of agree with you. Like,
yes,
it's
medium Christmas,
light to medium, medium light Christmassy. Let's move on to our Christmas carols. Favorite quotes. This is the thing you've been waiting for.
I was gonna say, we've already said so many of them, Jay. Jay, well, I have to go to the bathroom. Well, why don't you just go in the hot tub? I've been pissing in here. And then he pauses, and shitting. And one of my favorite Gina Davis quotes.
All right, so that one, yeah. Maybe you're not pregnant. Maybe some sailor shot you full of Cheese Whiz. Maybe you're smuggling ham hocks in your tuna taco. I don't know. Mrs. Johnson.
You need to ditch the fat. It scares the children, I believe, for her exact words after that.
If I get one more customer complaining about pubes in the bong water, I'll burn your face off.
Yes.
Also, Mrs. Johnson.
Trim that 70s bush, you Sasquatch, is my favorite insult to that particular girl.
Okay, this is Gina Davis in his kind of like opening monologue. Okay, children, let's work hard to succeed because God hates failures and whores.
Oh my God. That was one of the things that sold me on this movie, was the snappy back and forth dialogue between these characters. Clearly one of the writers knew what they were doing.
Shove it up your ass, Jesus fucker, Mrs. Johnson to Gina Davis.
Yes, when they have their first interaction. I believe I texted that one to you yesterday.
You did.
I got a couple of quotes from the songs. The opening song, I like, "'Tis the season for some pleasin', quit your teasin' and let it snow, snow, snow." And also, "It's as cold as a witch's tit, I know. I'm gonna rock your body like it's my civil right. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow."
'Tis the season for some pleasin'.
Yes.
You have, this is Sharon at the big kind of like at that showdown at the beginning where the two rival bikini gangs kind of face off. You have the butthole. We'll be there with the bells on.
Indeed.
Oh, and the thing that Willem Dafoe keeps saying is butthole ass.
Ah, yes. Your butthole ass.
When we're introduced to Dr. Lloyd Kaufman, he's walking through the hospital, and someone on the PA comes on to say, "Will Dr. One Long Dong please come to the urology department?"
Yes. Dr. O'Master Blaster. Dr. O'Master Blaster. When he gets paged away. And of course we talked about I just hold on 1 second, I need to get her vitals. Grabs tits.
The good news is the longer she remains in the coma, the longer it will be before she wakes up.
Yes.
Dr. Lloyd Kaufman.
That was my favorite line of his. And the fact that Miss Johnson is just like, "Oh yes, of course."
I'm gonna save my favorite line for last.
Okay.
But hey, Willem Dafoe, I want to show you something, and it rhymes with my tits, Jenny.
Oh yeah. When they find out everybody's been murdered, Miss Johnson screams, "Get me a cup of butt fucking nog."
Do you have any more?
No, that was pretty much the ones I wanted to highlight.
So Mrs. Johnson's clearly like getting drunk, I think, watching the strip poker going on, and it just cuts to like her drinking, and then Mrs. Johnson just yells, "I am a golden Christmas calf!"
Yeah.
And then it just cuts to black. I don't know what it means. I am a golden Christmas calf, but I love it.
Also, not a quote, but one of the times that she's sitting at the kitchen table talking to two of the girls, she's just getting blown under the table.
Yeah,
And
Sharon's just blowing her for whatever
Sharon
reason.
climbs out from under the table and stretches her jaw.
Also, like you listener, you might think that like Jeff and I are just like pretending to do a woman accent for Mrs. Johnson. No, this is literally how she talks.
This is how she talks, Jay.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's amazing.
All right.
Miss Johnson, my favorite character.
Well, let's which one do you want to do? Broken Bulb, Brilliant Bulb, or Christmas Wrapping?
I might as well do Christmas wrapping first.
All right. I don't know. I guess the bikinis looked fine. They were bikinis.
They had good. There were good swimsuits. I liked both Santas. I thought they were both pretty good Santa suits.
They weren't bad. I especially when Debbie Rochon / Chef Death puts on the Santa suit. I thought that looked really good.
Yes, it does. Like I said, I wish they had had more of Chef Death in this, because this is the movie that he's in the least.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
That's but yeah, otherwise I'm trying to you off mic before we started recording, I was talking, we were talking about this. I was complaining, you were talking. And you were like, well, yeah, I think a lot of those businesses are in multiple of the movies. So I think there's something where either the people manage, own, or work at these businesses. Yes. And so that's why they shot in this area.
Clearly, these are local businesses. If they don't own them, then they're friends with the people who do. Yeah, and they can shoot in this area. Which I can't hate on too much. I mean, I'm sure that probably took a lot to put these movies together.
I mean, yes, I'm willing to give them that. Yeah. But, I mean, yeah, we'll talk. We can talk about that
later. We're going to talk about it. All right, Broken Bulb, Brilliant Bulb. Here we go. Jay's Broken Bulb, the whole movie.
Broken Bulb. A lot of the jokes just like didn't land for me. There were just a lot of things where I'm like, I think you thought that that's funny, but I didn't think that's funny. There's like you said, I think the joke is that there's supposed to be a fat friend. Sharon's not fat.
Yeah.
But just none of those jokes were were very funny to me.
They weren't that funny to me at the beginning, but they got more funny to me as time went on. And the discussion that they have with Dr. O'Master Blaster, where they're like, she's like, Sharon, my friend has a weight problem. And he's like, yes, fat people are disgusting, but sometimes funny. But yes.
And then Jenny's like, sometimes.
Yes, but the joke gets more funny for me because it's very clear that she's not any bigger than any of the other girls. In fact, I think she's a little bit fitter than Jenny.
And then there was one other there's so many jokes that like the constant like it's the same like turd that we see multiple times. Like I didn't find that very funny.
The shit jokes weren't that funny to me.
Like all the poop jokes were just kind of very one note, very like not very funny.
I like the more clever humor they did in it, and a few of the referential things they did to like other franchises and stuff I liked. But yeah, I would see how some of this humor would definitely turn people off.
It's kind of, to me, it kind of felt like what we said about Santa's sleigh, where we were like, Santa's sleigh kind of wants, it's not your daddy's Christmas movie, and like, but we also said that like maybe it was because we'd seen Santa's sleigh recently that the jokes weren't as funny this time. This one though, this is the first time I've seen it, and I just didn't find very many of the jokes funny.
Yeah, I'd say probably about 60% of the jokes landed for me. I'm guessing for Jay it's probably more like 30.
Maybe not even that. I don't know. What was your broken bulb?
My broken bulb was not enough Chef Death. After watching the Car Wash one, I was like, well, this could have done with some more of the kills like they had in Car Wash. I want to see a little bit more of Chef Death in the Santa suit. I think he could have done a few more Christmas themed kills just to carry home the Christmas theme, like maybe kill somebody with a candy cane, or maybe
give him an axe.
Yeah, say an axe would have worked, or there was a reindeer decoration downtown. Maybe have him stick somebody on some antlers, as an homage to some of these other slasher movies.
Like we just kind of finished saying a couple of those kills feel like they are homages to Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Yeah,
go whole hog. Do more of them.
Yeah, that was my big broken bulb for this was, just do a little bit more Christmas themed killing and have Chef Death in a little more.
Well, what you just said about Chef Death, that's my brilliant bulb. Like, I thought Chef Death looked cool as shit with like the burned kind of gory looking like grizzled face wearing the Santa suit. I thought that looked great. That looked that looked terrifying. I thought that was, I not like scary, but like I thought it looked really, really good. And I'd love to see that in like a Christmas haunted house or something like that, like Santa looking all burned and fucking monstrous. I think that would be awesome.
Yes.
That's my brilliant bulb. I thought I saw more, like you said, more Chef Death, because Chef Death looked so fucking good.
Yes, he had a really good costume. I agree with you. It was pretty. He would fit in a regular slasher movie, I think, and not like a comedy one. I think he could be a legitimately scary villain if they played him up the right way.
Like, especially looking like that. Like, that when we get the flashback to what Chef Death looked like the first time. Where it's just like a dude wearing like a chef's hat, just chasing some girls.
Yes. I love the way he runs in those other movies, though, where he runs like seesawing back and forth without bending his knees. Okay, my brilliant bulb was the fact that they did not take themselves seriously when they were making this movie. They knew what they were making. They weren't trying to make a serious horror movie, and it makes it more tolerable for me, much more tolerable than something like a Krampus the Christmas Devil, where they're taking it completely seriously and trying to play it straight when it's something that's like completely goofy and unbelievable. That helps it a little bit with me. I don't know how that goes for you, Jay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll round into it here, I guess.
But yes, these are intended to be comedic movies, and they don't take them seriously, that's one of the things that hurts me the most, trying to watch a movie where it's clearly incredibly goofy and stupid, and they're trying to play it completely straight.
No, I like. Let's just round into it. Final rating. Every episode of Horror for the Holidays, well, every main episode, we rate our movie off of one of three categories. Is it ho hilarious? Is it seasonally scary? Or is it you'll be sorry? YULE. That's been the joke the whole time. If you guys haven't figured that out, you'll be sorry.
You'll log be sorry.
So yeah, for this one, it's you'll be sorry. I mean, I can't in good conscience give this anything else. Maybe if you were high, maybe if I was high, the movie might have been more fun. I wasn't high. I was taking notes and trying to watch this movie.
Yeah.
And so, so it didn't land. Maybe I would have had more fun, but like, that's my qualifiers. Maybe take an edible or smoke a little weed or something and watch this movie, and you might have more fun than I did.
You also might have had more fun if we'd watched it together versus separately.
Certainly movies are more fun, I think, silly, dumb movies are more fun when you watch with more people.
Yes.
But I will give it what you just said. I will take my hat off and doff my cap. It is better than Krampus the Christmas Devil. Because it doesn't take itself seriously. Like, my only thought was like, Two Front Teeth was legitimately like, I was rolling on the ground laughing at how fucking funny Two Front Teeth was. Like, Two Front Teeth was really, really funny and really stupid. And this one, like, I think had the really stupid part, but maybe if the jokes had landed better, I would have felt a little different about it. But I was, in my mind, I was like, this is somewhere between Krampus the Christmas Devil and Two Front Teeth. Mm-hmm. But to me, it's more on that you will be sorry side.
Okay. I could see that view, yeah.
Real fast, before you give your review, I'm going to open up Matt's book here.
All right.
And I had read Matt's review before I had watched the movie, and I want to read it out just so everyone knows what Matt had to say about this movie, which might have colored my review.
Okay.
The third installment of the low-rent sleaze series Bikini Bloodbath is the worst of all. The killer chef, Matt Ford, returns from the grave to stalk and slash a rival band of idiots from a head shop and a Christian deli. The two dueling Santas who wrestle briefly in a kiddie pool filled with eggnog are the only references to Christmas. Otherwise, the holiday tie-in is negligible. Genre favorite Debbie Rochon returns as Ms. Johnson. Crude humor, including numerous corn-riddled poop gags and fart jokes, coupled with degrading sexist and misogynistic dialogue, plunge Bikini Bloodbath Christmas to the lowest depths of cinematic entertainment. A pair of salespeople, one of whom is a cyclops, seriously, appears sporadically throughout the film, if for no other reason than to remind us how stupid and pathetic this movie is. This is one of the worst movies ever made. I mean, I still think Krampus the Christmas Devil is worse than this.
What did he write about Krampus the Christmas Devil?
There was a lot more. There's a whole section on Krampus the Christmas Devil.
See, I don't think Krampus the Christmas Devil deserves a whole section. And I hate to disagree with Matt, but unfortunately, that's not the only Christmas reference. The Santa wrestling thing, there's a lot more references to Christmas than that.
I agree with that. That was so. Like I said, I read this, and so instantly I was like, I don't know what Matt's talking about. There's way more Christmas stuff in this movie than what he implied. But as it went on, I was like, no, there's a lot of things I agree with Matt on.
I mean, I'm guessing the humor did not land with Matt either. But yeah, there's a lot of Christmas references in this movie. I'm not going to downplay it for that. And yes, they're acting like idiots, but I mean, they're acting like idiots because it's a parody movie and they're supposed to be stupid. I mean, people in horror movies act stupid generally, because if you acted like a smart person in a horror movie, most horror movies wouldn't happen.
Why don't we just leave the house?
Yes, exactly.
No, let's go hide behind the chainsaws. That's the best commercial Geico's ever done.
Yes. Oh God, I love that. I love that they play it before horror movies at the movie theater sometimes too.
Anyway, so what's your rating, Jeff?
I'm gonna give it a hilarious. I think with the caveat that yes, you have to enjoy some kinds of crude humor to enjoy this movie. But I think a lot of people seem to enjoy it, and like I said, I didn't love this movie or anything, but I wasn't like completely turned off by watching it either. I had some chuckles. Some of the stupid humor landed for me. I appreciated some of the parody stuff. Like, I don't know, the Cyclops salesman and the glaive. You have to kind of be a Kroll fan or know about Kroll for that to land with you. Which, I mean, if you've never seen Kroll the Conqueror, go out and watch that. But
you heard it from Jeff. Watch Kroll the Conqueror instead of Bikini Bloodbath Christmas.
But I mean, clearly these guys were immersed in 80s culture. It's kind of got, honestly, you know what it reminded me the most of? Like a Seth MacFarlane style parody, because he does the same thing, drawing from like the 80s and early 90s humor constantly. I would say if you're going to watch this, watch it with a group of friends.
And maybe get high.
Yeah, I mean, you could get high, but I mean, that would be a recommendation for a lot of the movies we've reviewed so far. They'd probably be better high. I still want to do a Leech watch high, Jay.
Maybe we'll look into that.
But yeah, I would say if you're high, you probably enjoy this movie more, but you'd also enjoy it. Throw this on at like a gathering of your friends or whatever, and you guys could all laugh at it and make fun of it together. I think you'd have a good time. I think they did enough in this movie right to let me recommend it versus like something like Krampus the Christmas Devil, which I would never recommend to anybody ever.
I mean, like I said, I could at least maybe recommend this movie.
Yeah, like this is not as bad as your Barricades or your American Screams or your Trapped Alives or your Krampus the Christmas Devils. It's more like Jay said, it's definitely more on the lower end of stuff. I mean, it's no two front teeth. You're not going to get, but I mean, honestly, I probably enjoyed this just as much as like a Santa Claus.
I was going to say like of our like kind of low budget, low rent movies that we've done. I know we've done lots, but like kind of the you know, of like the White Doomsdays, Two Front Teeth, WNUF, this. I certainly would watch those other three before you watch.
Yeah. I mean, those are all good movies, which I think also, well, WNUF I think is a pretty good parody of like that style, but it's parodying something very specific. This is parodying something a lot more broad. But like White Doomsday is good because it's not a parody. I think if it was trying to parody like slasher movies, I don't think it would land as well as doing its own thing. But I mean, like I said, a big point in my favor recommending this is that it does not take itself seriously at all. Everybody in this knows that it's goofy and ridiculous. And it's got, like I said, it's got enough, and like, you gotta appreciate the Master Blaster reference for the doctor. And also, like I said, the medical walking through the hospital, checking the charts 5 times thing landed for me more just because of my circumstances with watching so many medical dramas lately. Oh, Jay just took another giant shot of the candy corn.
Fuck.
I don't know how he does it. But, yeah, just to wrap it up, watch it with a group of friends. It's the kind of goofy, stupid thing you're looking for. And at the end of the day, another reason I'm going to recommend it is because it did what it told me it was going to do, finally, for one of these movies. There were bikinis. It was a bloodbath. It was at Christmas.
Jeff, if this were an episode of The Last Drive-In, how many breasts do you think are seen?
Specifically out or just in their tops too?
I believe Joe Bob counts women that take their tops off.
Oh, take their tops off. Then between the things in the actual movie and the things in the flashbacks, I think you see like 8 pairs of breasts.
So that would be 16 because it's breast like it's
I give this movie 16 boobs.
All right. Well, you might as well cue up your sound effect here.
Oh. All right. Well, since apparently Jay and Matt just think that this movie is terrible and, they hate everybody and everything fun.
Yeah, we hate fun things.
I got a message for them.
We're nothing if not known for hating fun in this podcast.
Yeah. Here we go.
You just got on the naughty list, bitch!
And that's a perfect. That's how the movie ends. By the way, that's a perfect segue into naughty list. Jeff, where do you want to put Chef Death / Debbie Rochon's character?
Well, I was gonna say, if you take Chef Death from the other 2 movies, I'd say he's a pretty effective slasher.
I was willing to put him probably like on our Michael Myers tier.
Yeah, I mean he's definitely got that supernatural slasher quality, like being at both the front door and the back door. He seems to just be able to appear and kill people at will.
Oh my god! It just hit me. It just hit me just this moment. This is a Friday the 13th, the new beginning, or the new blood or whatever with the not Jason.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make this movie any better. I'm still not going to increase my rating, but that's what the joke is that they think it's Chef Death and it's Debbie Rochon.
Yes. Well, Jay.
Also, my favorite Friday the 13th movie.
Oh, yeah?
I really like the blue hockey mask. I like the blue accents on the hockey mask, and I love Demon taking the shit in the outhouse.
Which, I mean, talk about another franchise, if you really break down and analyze it, that would not have very many well-rated movies.
I still stand by if we ever do transition into doing a summer series, The Boys of Summer. Friday the 13th, we'll probably have to tackle. We'll probably tackle that whole franchise.
Well, I mean, we'll have to because it's at a summer camp, Jay.
Until one of these days when they give us a Friday the 13th in December.
Oh, I mean, they'd be stupid not to, but then again, they are stupid, Jay. So who knows?
Yeah. Anyway, sorry about that. Well,
but yeah, I think we're gonna put him. I don't think he's as powerful as Michael Myers.
No.
But I put him somewhere on that list. I think he's a little bit above your average human killer Santas.
Yeah. Well, and the fact that he comes back from the dead.
Yes.
I think improves him. I'd probably put him above the Nutcracker from Nutcracker Massacre.
Yeah, he's more dangerous than that and kills people more believably.
But like probably less than Santa's sleigh.
Yeah, he's not as
Goldberg Santa.
Yeah, he's not as powerful as that Santa, but I would say he's pretty close.
Well, we've talked here about a couple different Christmas horror movies, and that we've watched a couple different characters, and it's time to transition into our segment where people send in emails. And if this is a weird, confusing transition, you'll get it after I read the email that's coming up here soon in a segment we like to call
Garbage Day! Huh? No!
All right. This email today comes to us from Jay Logsden.
Oh, yeah? Who's that?
Hey, Jay. Hope you're doing well. I am, thanks. Thanks, Jay. Thanks for writing in, buddy.
He doesn't look like he is, but I mean...
I thought today would be a perfect opportunity to unveil your new game on the podcast. You know what? I think that's a great idea, Jay Logsden.
Oh, boy.
Jeff, listeners, I present to you our new game, our new segment. Fuck, Marry, Killmas.
Okay.
Love, Jay.
Jay, for somebody for who crude humor doesn't land very well, your game speaks against that.
All right, so this is a traditional fuck, marry, kill. But it's fuck, marry, Killmas.
Killmas, of course. Of course, Jay.
Marry, Killmas.
Marry Killmas to you as well.
Merry. All right. Well, we might as well start at the top of my list. We're going to go through every time we do a fuck, marry, Killmas, we're gonna do one set of 3 villains.
Okay.
And you're gonna decide which one you're gonna fuck, which one you're gonna marry, and which one you're gonna kill. It's a traditional game of fuck, marry, kill, except it's fuck, marry, Killmas. Fuck,
Okay.
Mary Kilmus. So, Jeff.
Yeah.
All right, we got. God damn it.
Yeah, we got something already.
We got Santa from Once Upon a Time at Christmas. I want to say his real name is Ian something, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
And every time I tried to look up what his real name was, I could not find it.
Just call him Four Birds Santa.
So Once Upon a Time at Christmas Santa, Harry Standling, and Wayne from Santa Claus. Which one you want to fuck, which one you want to marry, and which one you want to kill, miss?
Kilmus. Oh boy.
I've been waiting days to spring this on you.
Well, let's see. All right. I guess I'll fuck Harry. I'm gonna definitely kill Mr. Santa Claus. Can't stand him. And I guess I'll marry Four Birds Santa.
You know, I'll give you 1 point. Wayne, you absolutely kill Wayne.
I mean, he has to be dead. Four Birds Santa, if nothing else, is loyal to you, so that's why I would marry him.
I know, but if you ever cross him, he's gonna try and kill you. That's why I think I would marry Harry Standling.
I don't think I would.
Fiona Apple's dad.
I was gonna say, I don't think I could stand to be married to Harry Stanley.
And
is
then,
the thing.
and then you could be Fiona Apple's other dad.
Well, you may find that more attractive than I do, Jay.
And then, I mean, here, Four Birds Santa, Once Upon a Time at Christmas Santa, Ian something. Like I said, I think his name's Ian. I don't remember. If I could ever get my copy of the 3-pack of DVDs, we would know for certain.
Yeah.
But I think he's pretty wild. It seems like it'd be a fun one night, but I don't know that it would be worth it. That guy's kind of crazy, and he seems like he's kind of attached to that Mrs. Claus. So,
I mean, what if she was in on it? That'd be even better.
I mean, there you go. But I did not put that in my prompt. It was just
Well, I mean,
three.
if you're marrying him, obviously she's still gonna be around.
But then you've got like the hang up drama from that, and you know, and is he going behind your back and sleeping with her / maybe killing people?
I mean, I don't think I would really care, but I mean, I suppose if that was something that was going to affect your decision, I suppose, yeah.
All right,
take that into consideration.
Well, so that's our first segment of fuck Mary Kilmus. I believe what I exactly texted you was, hold on, I'm pulling it up.
I invented a new game for the podcast.
And you responded with, I am intrigued.
Yes. Now I am intrigued.
And don't worry, I have more prompts ready for our next episode.
Oh, I'm sure you have a million of these, Jay, and I'll be happy to answer them.
And I mean, they're going to range from movies we've done on the podcast. I've got some that are laying in wait for when we inevitably get to that movie, and then we can add it to the list. I've got that, but I've also got more traditionals, more traditional horror movie villains, and we'll kind of go from there as I see fit. As I am wont, because I am the game master and you are my pawn.
Apparently the game master controls this now.
The game master controls fuck Mary Kilmus.
You know what? At least since we're doing a game of fuck Mary Kilmus, I don't have to eat any garbage, so that's good.
Who knows when fuck Mary Kilmus will show back up. But certainly, if you want to respond and let us know who you would fuck, who you would marry, and who you would kill, fuck Mary Kilmus style. Fuck Mary Kilmus. I was originally just going to call it fuck Mary Kill, but Merry.
Yeah.
But then I was like, but they can't visually see that joke. So I'm like, I have to go all in.
Oh boy.
But if you want to respond, get in touch with us on social media. We are at horror4holidays at all the places.
Yeah, pretty much everywhere.
TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, X. I think those are the main ones.
All the platforms that you love. All the platforms that'll probably be gone in the next week. We're on there. YouTube.com/horror-for-the-holidays. Hit the subscribe bell. Watch the archived episodes. Enjoy yourself.
Certainly enjoy yourself listening to this episode.
Yes.
I think this might be one of our best ones.
Support Mike's Indiegogo campaign for Dead Format. He's almost there. They're almost across the finish
Yeah,
line.
what, like 75% or
They're
something?
up to like 78 now.
I want
15 days left.
Yeah, so yeah, we're getting by the time you guys hear this, maybe 12 days left or something like that. But yeah, just under 2 weeks. But yeah, help him cross that finish line. I was getting ready to do that executive producer, and then someone bought 2 of them.
Yeah.
So I might contact Mike off air and see if we can executive producer horror for the holidays.
You should, because he said on his stream on Facebook that he was willing to do like side deals off of Indiegogo. So
All right, well, we'll see.
get in contact with him. Definitely. I mean, anybody, you don't have to get a perk either. If you just want to donate like $5 or whatever, you can also just do straight donations.
But also shoot $5, $50 his way, get a copy of the DVD.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you want the Blu-ray. But also, surprisingly few people getting the clamshell fake movies that are going to be used, which some of the photos look pretty interesting.
No, I think those look awesome. The as much as I want White Doomsday 2, man, the what is it, Mennonite, Night of the Living Mennonites or whatever, or like Mennonite of the Living Dead looks hilarious. Like those stills that Mike has shared look amazing.
But yeah, go ahead. I mean, I think for $20 you can even get your own Video Castle membership card, so not even that expensive.
I just got the joke, Mennonite of the Living Dead.
Yes. Oh, wow. J Logs and everybody.
All right. Well, anyway, but yeah, also on that YouTube thing, heck, on Mike's Indiegogo, if you pledge, leave a comment, let us know who you'd fuck, who you would marry, and who you would kill.
Yeah, I'm sure he would appreciate it.
Yeah, why not? Just anonymously leave that and see what he says.
Yes, a barrage Mike with messages about who he would fuck, marry, kill us.
Yeah, you know what? I'm confident in saying he doesn't listen to our podcast week to week. Ask him who he would fuck, who he would marry, and who he would kill us.
And tell him Jeff and Jay sent you.
Also, send us an email, horrorfortheholidays@gmail.com. Help us come up with more dumb segments to do on this show, like fuck, marry, kill us, or ask us legitimate questions, or just send in prompts, fun stuff like that.
Movies you'd like covered, anything really.
I'm honestly looking at setting up a PO box, so if people want to send us a regional, seasonal, there we go, snacks, they can do that.
Yes, that would be good. Oh, and join my hate campaign against Matt Dupay for hating Bikini Bloodbath Christmas. We're going to be starting a letter writing campaign to amend his entry in the A Scary Little Christmas Guide.
We're not.
We are.
And yeah, otherwise, subscribe at your podcatcher choice. Tell a friend. Leave a review, 5 stars. This is the worst thing I've ever heard. Why did that guy get really drunk talking about this episode?
Oh my God, you people don't even know. This liquor is terrible, by the way.
I thought it was pretty good. Oh, so the whole reason I chose that and not Winter Spice Jack Daniels, because that's what I was originally going to grab.
Yes.
I went to Hy-Vee the other night, local grocer chain for listeners who aren't local to Des Moines, which I assume is a lot of them. I don't know.
I would think so, yeah.
And I was kind of walking around the aisles, and I saw a bottle of this for sale. So remember, I told you I paid like $5 for it?
Yes.
That's a $30 bottle of liquor.
All right, well, you know what? Let me try a little bit of it again. Maybe I'm misremembering which one, because we tried a lot of terrible drinks that day. Maybe I'm thinking it's a different one. All right, here we go.
And it smells like candy corn, but it tastes really sweet.
Not as bad as I remember.
Yeah, I remember you liking that one pretty well.
It's not too bad. I must have been thinking of a different one.
We've drank a lot of shit.
Yeah, well, that day specifically, I think we tried like 4 different ones, and then we were like, oh yeah, this is probably a bad idea because we're here getting drunk.
Oh no, I think that was the last year's Christmas beers and then the quiz.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Anyway, 5 stars, especially bad reviews. 5 stars.
Yes, 5 stars. Be like, Jeff and Jay, you're terrible. Stop making this show. We won't, but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, like my wife said, this is just an excuse for Jeff and me to hang out. So we're not going to stop making it.
Never.
Anyway, all that said, we'll see you again next week with a stocking stuffer episode, and then again in 2 weeks with a mainline episode. Maybe better than this, maybe worse. We'll see.
We'll see. Down with Matt Dupay. Goodbye.
Thanks for listening. Bye.